Welcome to Fit and Fire, the Prostate Cancer Combat Podcast. I'm your host, Al Carter, U.S. Army veteran, prostate cancer survivor, and a man rebuilding strength in real time. This podcast is about mind, body, and spirit, and what it really takes to heal, to lead, to rise again. If you're walking through cancer, recovery, fear, or rebuilding, or going through something else, you're not alone. Let's climb together. This is episode 3, The Summit Win, where revelation meets resistance. So the climb continues. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pastor. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, a man rebuilt through prostate cancer. And if you're climbing your own mountain, brother and sister, welcome back. As I speak to you right now, it's Friday, January the 16th, 2026. I'm 127 days post surgery, still healing, still climbing, still rebuilding, still becoming. This story is not told from a distance. It's told from the middle of the mountain. This is a real-time testimony, a real-time climb, a real-time transformation. I need you to hear this clearly, not as a slogan, not as a soundbite, but as truth. I'm not speaking from the finish line, I'm speaking from inside the fight. I'm recording this as a man still in recovery, still in hormone treatment, still pushing through weakness, still walking miles one step at a time, still doing push ups with breath that shakes, still rebuilding my identity day by day. I need to say this plainly. I don't have full control of my bladder, not yet, but I will. I wear Depends and a pad every day. This is part that most men never talk about. This is the part. This is what prostate cancer actually looks like. And this is why early detection matters, because pretending you're fine doesn't make you strong. It makes you silent. And silence is how men die. This isn't a story told after victory. This isn't a reflection from a distance. This is a real time battle. And if you're listening right now, you're walking it with me. On Mount Everest, reaching the summit isn't the miracle. Breathing at that elevation is. Climbers say the world goes quiet at the top. The noise falls away, the mountain stills. The prayer carried the entire climb finally lands. The summit doesn't reward strength, it rewards surrender. You don't conquer a mountain, you survive it by grace. Some mountains take your breath away, not because the view is beautiful yet, but because the air gets thinner the higher you climb. This is episode 3, The Summit Win, where the climb reveals what God was doing all along. Halfway up, you turn around, not out of fear, but awareness. You see distance. You see progress. You see scars that healed stronger. And something rises quietly inside you. I didn't think I could make it this far. But God carried me more than I carried myself. This is self-recognition. This is a spiritual elevation. This is where a man meets the version of himself God always saw. The higher you climb, the more weight shifts from survival to stewardship. You think about legacy, family, calling, what you leave behind. The mountain becomes holy ground because every step is no longer just about getting through. It's about becoming who God calls you to be. The legs burn, the lungs tighten, the scars speak, the body says, you're reaching your limit. But the spirit answers louder. Limits are real, but they will not define me. Pain becomes prayer, endurance becomes worship. God was building me long before the storm arrived. Every man climbs two mountains. One is made of rock, built by his own hands, pride, ego, the need to prove. The other is made of wounds, shaped by surrender, loss, and the hard challenges of life. Both mountains contain the same elements, but in different proportions: fear, shame, identity, manhood. One mountain teaches control, the other teaches truth. God doesn't elevate the man we pretend to be, He elevates the man we actually are. Separation always comes before elevation. At this height, prayer changed. My prayers changed. They didn't. They didn't stop being speeches. They stopped being speeches, and they also became breath. It went from speeches to breath. Lord, stay with me. Lord, teach me how to breathe up here. Prayer becomes oxygen. God becomes the handhold. Every step becomes worship. Before the summit appears, you feel the wind, resistance, pressure. The voice says, you don't belong this high. But God whispers, keep climbing. You're closer than you think. This is where men break or reborn. This is where a man meets himself, the tired version, the wounded version, the version that prayed through tears, the version that prepared his body for battle, the version that says, God help me. And God answers. That man didn't die, he transformed. Wind meets elevation. Wind means something is about to be revealed. Your voice steadies, your faith deepens, purpose sharpens. This mountain didn't weaken you, it forged you. Then the arrival of the wind. I want you to understand where I'm speaking from right now. I'm at the top of the mountain. I'm at the summit where truth and reality meet and nothing can be hidden anymore. At the summit, the fig leaf comes off. There's no pretending, no covering, no softening version of the story. This is where revelation hits all at once. And this is where the winds are the strongest. The winds of the summit are truth. The winds of the summit are reality. The winds of the summit don't ask permission, they expose what it is. Right now, I'm standing in that wind. The revelation of this summit, and then something shifts. When you get on that summit, something definitely shifts. Not celebration, not relief, but stillness. You don't arrive at the summit with raised fists. You arrive quiet because at the top, there's nowhere else to go. No more climbing to distract you, no more excuses to hide behind. This is where the wind changes, not the kind that cools you, the kind that strips you. The summit wind doesn't ask if you're ready, it reveals what's real. Up here, strength isn't loud, faith isn't rushed, and pretending doesn't survive the air. This is where God stops whispering encouragement and starts speaking truth, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because summits don't exist to reward the climb. Oh no, they exist to reveal the man who climbed it. This is the moment where a man realizes, I can't go back to who I was. I can't unknown. I can't unknow what I now know. I can't stay silent anymore. That's why things feel heavier with me. That's why every moment feels sacred to me. This is not ego. This is my calling. From here, God doesn't shout. He connects. Threads, threads you didn't even know were related, suddenly align. Why you waited, why there were delays, why the suffering, why the surgery, why the weakness, why the silence, and why fear didn't win. This mountain was not punishment, it was preparation. Then this revelation hits me, and it will hit you. The mountain wasn't something you were climbing away from, it was something God was leading you into. The summit doesn't give answers the way men expect it gives response. It gives responsibility. God doesn't say you made it. He says you see clearly now. And clarity is heavier than confusion because now you know what matters, what doesn't, what must be said, and what can no longer be ignored. The wind at the summit isn't random, it's the breath of assignment. It carries this truth. You are never climbing alone. I was shaping you in the resistance, strengthening you in the thinning air, teaching you how to breathe where others panic. This mountain was not punishment, it was positioning. And standing here, you realize something sobering. The summit isn't the end of the journey, it's the moment God entrusts you with what you're supposed to be carrying back down. Here's the reckoning of the summit: revelation and truth. The summit doesn't just show you where you're going, it shows you where you've been. And I need to say this, not to judge anyone, but to tell the truth about myself. I spent years chasing things and trying to justify my actions and inactions. I chased things I thought would make me a man, make me feel good for a moment, or take away my pain. Titles, money, status, achievement, earthly abundance without spiritual substance, foolish lies and distractions. I hurt my family. I made some costly mistakes. On this summit, I can see it clearly now. I ignored pain instead of facing it. I avoided hard conversations. I chased success while neglecting presence. I hurt people not with intention, but with neglect, pride, stupidity, and silence. And once I had what I thought I wanted, I took things for granted. I said things I can't take back. I made choices I can't undo. I mistook movement for purpose and provision for calling. The summit stripped all of that away. Up here, you learn what it really means to be a man, not perfection. Not even this podcast. It's not even perfection at all. I'm speaking from heart. It's not dominance. It's not image, but honesty. Honesty with yourself, honesty before God, honesty before the people your life touches. This is my truth. This is my nakedness. On the summit, my life was revealed, not to shame me, but to realign me. And once you see the truth at this altitude, you don't get to whisper it. You carry an obligation to live differently, an obligation to love differently, an obligation to warn other men before they climb the wrong mountain. So I'm speaking to you. I'm not speaking to you from regret. I'm just speaking to you from a changed man. I'm speaking from responsibility, and I will shout this truth from the mountain of revelation because silence is what nearly cost me my life. The summit is where I ask God for forgiveness, not for success, not for protection, but for mercy. I pray for wisdom to see clearly. I pray for strength not to dominate, but to endure. I pray for guidance to walk in his light and not in my pride. I need to say this plainly. People may never forgive me. My family may never fully forgive me. And I have to live with that. But on this summit, I pray for healing, not just for myself, but everyone I ever hurt. I was a foolish man, a simple man, a man who confused strength with control and ambition with purpose. I'm still praying to learn to forgive myself. This is my naked truth. I did not ask for cancer. Who would? But I'm grateful for the summit. I'm grateful for the winds. I'm grateful for the stripping. I am grateful for the silence where God whispered, his whisper could finally reach me. I was too hard headed, too stubborn, and too in the moment to hear him. God healed me, not just in body, but in mind and spirit. He forged me in the fire. And here on the summit, I do not rise as my former self. I rise as something reborn. I rise refined. I rise humbled. I rise awake. I rise like the phoenix. Not because I was strong enough, oh no, but because I was broken enough to be remade. This is what the summit does. It doesn't glorify the man you were, it reveals the man you were becoming. From the summit, you don't just see how far you climb, you see the cost of every step you took to get there. This is my message from the summit for anyone listening, men, women, families, and those walking alone. Don't make the mistakes I made. Please don't. Love your family while you still have them. Be present while present still matters. Be the best version of yourself, not the version that impresses people, but the version that can stand alone in truth. Money is necessary. Provision matters. Responsibilities matters. But you have to ask the harder question, at what cost? Because everything costs something. Time costs, pride costs, neglect costs, chasing costs. I chased things that looked like success but had no spiritual substance. I paid for it with relationships, with peace, with moments I can't get back. Balance is not optional. You must find balance in your life before it's too late because what you buy on this earth comes with a price tag. And that bill always comes due. You will pay in life or you will pay when life is over. The summit teaches you this truth. You don't take anything with you except who you became and how you loved. Choose wisely while choosing is still in your hands. This is something I thought about for a little while, the multiverse of myself. Let me teach you something I'm learning in real time. Healing does not move in straight lines. Recovery, faith, identity, purpose, they don't heal in neat little timelines. What I'm experiencing feels like a multiverse inside myself. Multiple versions of me existing at the same time. There's a version of me before surgery, strong, driven, disciplined, certain. There's a version of me during treatment, tired, weakened, emotional, fighting invisible battles. And there's the version of me after, not fully revealed yet. And you're walking it with me. I'm forming right now. This version doesn't replace each other. They collide, they overlap, they argue, they coexist, mind, body, and spirit, converging in the present moment. And if that's you, if you feel strong 1 hour and broken the next, that's not confusion, that's integration. Here's what the mountain taught me. When life shakes you, you stop asking what's next. You start asking, how much time do I have? Time is the most precious commodity we can ever be given. It has ever been given. More valuable than money, more valuable than possessions. And men don't like to face this. You'll never get wasted time back. This was That's why prostate cancer isn't just a medical issue. It's a time issue. I've been thinking about various things. I wrote these things as I'm still healing. I want to really speak from the heart on these things so you can fully understand what I'm talking about. When I was in the Army, we used acronyms for a reason. When pressure hits, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall back on what's trained into you. So I created a few here for you to remember. Simple truths you can carry with you when things get heavy. Let me go through my acronyms. I'm going to talk about time. T is for talk. Silence is not strength. Men die because they talk too late. I is investigate. Prostate cancer whispers before it screams. Investigation is stewardship. M for move. Delay is where fear wins. Movement saves lives. E for engage. Engage family, faith, and future. No man walks alone. But time alone isn't enough because urgency without direction just creates anxiety. And let me take time one layer deeper for you. Because time doesn't just reveal the man, time also traps a man. And let me take this one more step. Because time doesn't just reveal the man, time can also trap a man. Time, let me break it down. T can stand for trauma, trap, tired. I, isolated, invisible. M is the man. And the E is exhaustion, emptiness, and erosion. But God doesn't expose you to shame, not to shame you. He exposes you to free you. Time became my calling. The T stands for teach. The I became isolated. M for men and E for emerge. Teach isolated men to emerge. That's what time stands for me now. This isn't hype, no shortcuts. This is truth, discipline, faith, and brotherhood. Time once traumatized me, isolated me, and exhausted me. And now, by God's grace, I use my time to teach isolated men to emerge. Let's talk about purpose. Purpose isn't found by chasing things. Purpose is found by using your time intentionally. So here's purpose. P, it stands for presence. Be where your feet are. You, use your time wisely. Time is not promised. Wasted time becomes regret. The R, reflect. Reflection is course correction. P, protect what matters. Health, family, faith, peace. The O, obey the calling. Not ego, not noise. Calling. S, serve others. Service gives suffering meaning. And E, endure forward. Purpose doesn't promise comfort, it promises direction. Now, let me talk about what we all face fear. Fear is the enemy. Fear grows in silence. Fear grows in avoidance. Fear grows when men pretend. So here's fear. F for face it. E, examine it. Name it, like I did. Prostate cancer. Name it. A, act anyway. Courage is movement. You can't stay still. R, rise through it. Fear means something matters. Let's talk about life. Life is the mission. The word life, start with the L. Live intentionally. Drifting costs everything. The I, invest what matters. Time, health, family, faith. F, fight for your life. Fight for your life against disease, silence, and surrender. The E, embrace the moment you're in. This moment still matters. Let's talk about love. Legacy. Love is not emotion. Love is a responsibility. The L in love. Lead with responsibility. The O, own the truth. V, value time over things. The E, example, it stands for example. The life you want to be remembered by. That's love. Let's talk about God. At the summit, there's no hiding. Only truth stands. So here's God. The G, grounded in truth. The O, order over chaos. Ego creates chaos, God creates order. The D, direction, not distraction. God gives meaning to suffering. Let me say this again. God. G is the grounded truth. O, order over chaos. Ego creates chaos. Please understand that. God creates order. D, direction, not distraction. God gives meaning to suffering. Here's my message to men. Let's talk about PSA. I'm going to say this like a brother that loves you. PSA, that acronym scared me, but now it has truth. Now I'm talking to you what it means. The P stands for pay attention. Your body tells the truth early. S, schedule the check. Don't gamble with time. A, act for those who love you. Get check. Getting check is love. PSA, pay attention, schedule the check, act for those who love you. And here's the hard truth from the summit. This is the hard truth. There is no U-Haul behind the hearse when you pass away. All these things you have been chasing makes no sense. Value your time, value your family, value who you are. Walk in purpose. What you leave behind isn't what you owned, it's how you lived and how and who you loved that truly matters. Here's some PSA health nuggets. Here's my responsibility and here's my mission. I don't get to stay quiet. I'm not going to stay quiet about something that nearly took my life. Prostate cancer doesn't announce itself loudly, it waits. And if my voice reaches just one man, one family member in time, if you pass this podcast to someone and I say if one person hears what I'm trying to tell you, then this climb was worth it. Get your PSA checked. Don't wait for pain to give you permission. I need you to hear this clearly. Get your PSAs checked. This is it's just a simple blood test, but it can reveal the truth your body has been hiding. If your PSA level is elevated, your doctor may recommend further testing, and in some cases, a biopsy. That doesn't mean panic. That doesn't mean fear. That doesn't mean, it just means information. Trust God. Trust your doctor. The PSA test. And if it needed a biopsy, it's not the end of the road. They are the first step in unveiling the truth within you. And the truth gives you options. Truth gives you time. Truth gives you a fighting chance. This is your life. This is your responsibility. This is your mission for yourself, for the people who love you and need you here. Don't delay. Don't stay silent. Get checked. I want to share something with you before I close. I'm learning right now in pelvic floor therapy. I'm learning that healing isn't about forcing strength back. It's not forcing my strength back. It's about coordination. The diaphragm, the pelvic floor, all designed to move together like a piston. When I inhale deeply, like my stomach is a balloon, filling with air, the diaphragm moves down and the pelvic floor naturally relaxes. When I exhale slowly, I'm blowing out a like I'm blowing out a candle. The diaphragm rises and the pelvic floor gently lifts. That coordination helps with core stability, pressure control, and things men don't like to talk about, like urinary control when you stand up. This isn't weakness. This is rebuilding. This is from foundation. What struck me is how physical healing mirrors spiritual surrender. In therapy, they taught me to breathe with intention, not chest breathing, but deep diaphragmatic breathing. Inhale like a balloon filling the belly and the ribs expand. Exhale, exhale slow, like you're blowing out a candle. That breath regulates pressure inside the body, supports the core, teaches the pelvic floor when to relax and when to engage. Prayer stopped being speeches for me. It became breath. Healing works the same way. Cooperation, not conquest. I started pelvic floor therapy on the 15th. This is in theory. This is my life unfolding in real time. After prostate surgery, the nerves that control urinary control also control penile function. Don't just, this doesn't just turn on and come back on. It doesn't work like that. It, when you have surgery, it disrupt everything. You have to retrain. You have to heal. That's why pelvic floor therapy matters. I'm learning that certain tools like vacuum devices aren't about sexual performance. They're about function, blood flow, tissue health, nerve communication. This is all about rebuilding what was disrupted, not pretending that like nothing happened. There's another truth from the summit I need to say. The hormone treatment I'm on is necessary to save my life. Prostate cancer feeds testosterone. So to stop the cancer from spreading, it deprives it. It produces hot flashes, cold flashes, energy loss, mood shifts. All this is happening to me as I'm recording this. This treatment touched my mind, the body, and the spirit all at once. That's how important this podcast is to me. I wanted to be able to reach men. I'm telling you the truth. I'm healing from surgery, fighting through hormone suppression, and still choosing to show up, to speak, to write, to be present while my body recalibrates in real time. I'm not speaking from shame. I'm speaking the truth. I want to bring prostate cancer awareness to all men listening, all the loved ones to know. I want you to know the truth. Because if it reaches one life, helps one person what they face, what they can be avoiding, all by getting that PSA check. If I'm able to help one person face this and help them avoid what I'm going through or changes one perspective, then it matters. This climb was not for nothing. I wish men were having these conversations before surgery to know what the surgery is going to do for you. It's going to what's going to happen, but also know so you can, when you listen to me, you can get through it. If men, not just myself, if we become a brotherhood and talk about these things and help another person and have these conversations before surgery and not just after, but before, during, and after, then I think that it will be better for it, that we can survive it together. Education, pelvic floor therapy, breath work aren't afterthoughts. They're preparation. Getting checked early, doesn't save doesn't just save your life, it protects the quality of your life. And that's what I'm hoping to do with this podcast. Not only to save lives, but tell you what you have to do to protect the quality of your life. I want to do a shout out. I also want to take this moment to acknowledge the people walking this healing road with me, the ones listening to this podcast. You're not alone. I want to thank my urological team at the Phoenix VA, led by Dr. Lindsay Darris, my physical therapy team at One Accord Physical Therapy. These are professionals who don't just treat people, they care about people. God works through knowledge, hands, patience, and care. I'm grateful for the medical teams who show up every day to help men like me rebuild what fear tried to take. I'm grateful. Shout out to those teams. This was episode 3, The Summit Win. This story is part of a 26 episode journey. The summit is at the end. It's where responsibility begins. Episode 4, The Mist, is where clarity fades and trust takes over. From the summit, the view is beautiful, but the journey isn't finished. After every summit comes something unexpected, fog. Episode 4, The Mist, is where vision narrows and faith has to lead. I'm Al Carter, and this is Fit and Fire. Thank you for listening.